All right, we're live.
Excellent. Well, good evening, everyone. The hour of 7 o'clock having arrived on this Tuesday, the 20th of April, 2021, I will now call to order the Common Council of the City of Racine. The first order of business is actually the Pledge of Allegiance. If I could ask everyone to please join and face the east and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, very much for joining me in that. The next order of business is the clerk has the honor of administering the oath of office to the newly elected alders. Clerk Coolidge.
If all of the newly elected alders of the Odd District could please stand and raise your right hand. Give everyone a second for the right camera angle. If you could please repeat after me. I solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
And the state of Wisconsin.
and the state of
Wisconsin,
And that I will faithfully.
and that I will faithfully
And impartially.
impartially
Perform the duties of alder of the blank district.
perform the duties of alder of the
Third
district
For the city of Racine.
for the city of Racine,
To the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
According to law.
according to law.
Congratulations.
Yay. So at this point, we would like to let the newly elected alders recognize family and friends. And why don't we start with the new members who are not returning, or at least not returning immediately. Why don't we start with Alder Caprillion? If there's any comments or well wishes you'd like to make for families and friends.
Absolutely. Thank you for recognizing me. And it is an honor to be back and serve as a city alder. I first want to thank my opponent for taking part in this election process and giving the 5th District residents a choice. And then I would like to address the 5th District residents. I thank you for getting out there and voting and trusting in me and seeing in me that I would be the best suited and fit as your representative. I just want you to know that even though this process has taken place, we are in this together. And I look at you as my leader, and we can't do this alone. So I need you to partake in it so that I can see and work within your visions, not only for the here, but also for the future of this beautiful city of Racine. And then I would like to just talk a little bit about just time, and not only just the importance of time, and it's about realizing that we share this time, and how wide we open our eyes and our heart is who we see, who we share it with. And I just want to say that I, with wide eyes and a wide heart or a big heart, I realize that I share it with many people that are not only like myself, but a very diverse population. And it's not just within my circle, but out of my circle. And I am very mindful of not only this time here, but even in the past, I, as a mother, just as somebody within this community. And with that, it gives me much pride to see that the values that I really believe in and instill, not only for myself, but for those that I got to raise, just the privilege and the honor to raise. And so you all who know that this is a very, very touching moment for me as a mother. And we'll be able to hear a little bit more as Alderman Rouse gets to speak why that possibly could be this evening. So I believe we go down in Racine history. It starts tonight as a mother and son get to serve together on the Racine City Council. And so with that, I thank just this community, this process. And I also want to recognize those who have got me here besides my voter. Back in 2011, I wouldn't even be part of this process if it wasn't for Alderman David Mack. So I always want to recognize that he saw something in me upon his departure. So thank you, Alderman Mack, for having that faith and vision in me when I didn't quite see it myself. And here I am now, a decade later, just serving in different capacities. Also, thank you, Alderwoman Jen Levy, for your time and your dedication to the Racine City Council. And I, as you were my representative, I thank you. You led with just such honor and respect for this process. And our district really felt that in your dedication. So thank you ever so much. My family for the support, my friends for the support. This process is not an easy one. People come at you with a lot of attacks on your character. We all know that, who is sitting here together on this council. That can be quite challenging, but that support base that you choose to put around you, and also those voters, do make you look back then at yourself and realize that this is a role that we don't just serve for ourselves, and it is for others, and those who support you do bring that back into your mind and make you realize that you have what it takes. So just thank you. I am now rambling, so I will pass it on to the next one who is speaking, but it's an honor to be back. And I hope with my gained knowledge that being on the county board, that I will be able to serve my district and the Racine City residents well. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Caprillion. Congratulations and welcome back. Next, we will go to Alder Rouse, the other new member of the council. Alder Rouse, would you like to say a few words?
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me this chance. One of the first things to recognize is the amount of support that I got from friends, family, community members, other alders, other elected officials. I mean, they've been driving me towards this decision for years now, and I've only been in my house 5 years. But it really all started back when I was younger, and I got to watch some really important people to me go through this process themselves and to learn how important such a role that many might find insignificant compared to many tasks there are in this world, but how important that can be. And that's not defined by a large salary. It's not defined by many hours of work. It's not defined by certain job titles and job restrictions, but rather what we're willing to put back into our community. I see this role as a community member. I'm not much different than my neighbors. Every action we take at the city level, even before deciding to run for office, impacted me, impacted my neighbors, impacted my community, my family, my friends, and part of that made it easy. It made it easy to want to step into this type of role, as well as the guidance and support that I got from all of you guys. I mean, I've spoken to most people here and helped answer some of my questions. This is a confusing role. It's hard, but I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm excited to get into some of this detail and to give a chance to serve my community and the city in general. I love this city. I'm happy to be here and I want to stay.
Alder Rouse, congratulations and thank you very much. Alder Coe, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, first and foremost, I want to thank the voters in the district of the 1st District for once again giving me another 2 years. I feel very humbled and thankful for their support. But I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my family. My daughters has been there for me. I had my granddaughter running around with me doing different things, and it's not much different than when my youngest daughter was when I first got into this. She was that little girl running around with me doing doors, and now it's my grandkids. And I just want to, thank the community, and I would like to continue serving in a really good capacity. So any questions from anybody, please don't hesitate to get a hold of me. And thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Alder Coe, and welcome back and congratulations. Next, I'd like to go to the gentleman from the 3rd, the City Council President, Alder Tate II.
I think I'm just a council member this evening, as of the start of the meeting. But certainly want to start with thanking the voters. Although I did not have opposition this year, it's still always an honor and a privilege to have people, fill in a bubble next to your name with the confidence that you're going to represent them at some level of government. This journey started with a 4-vote difference to an 86% margin of victory to no opposition at all. And I think that's indicative of the kind of service that my constituents have seen from me, the representation that they get in terms of speaking to the issues, where they are and what they want to be hearing from their representatives, and also just to the dedication that I bring to this role, and that I'm happy to bring to this role, because I think that's what people in the city deserve from every single one of us, is a voice that carries the things that matter to the people that we represent. Whether we agree with them necessarily or not, it needs to be brought into the conversation, because that's who we represent and that's who this city is. So I'm just very honored to continue to serve. This is still the honor of my lifetime to serve, because ultimately when you're being elected, you're having people say, yes, this is the person who I want to be my voice. And that is no small task. That is no small burden to carry. And it is a burden, but it's also one that we seek out. So this local government service is just so often unappreciated, but we also don't do this for the appreciation. We do it for the necessity. So I'm just glad to continue to be here, continue to serve. The last year has certainly been probably more challenging than any of us ever would have imagined in entering public office. I don't think anybody, signed up and said, I'd like to be governing during a pandemic. I'd like to be governing during, what seems like the second rise of a civil rights movement. I'd like to be governing, when they were dealing with economic crises and, even environmental catastrophes. But, I think we all signed up as well to want to be the persons in the room at the table dealing with these issues on behalf of our constituents. So I am very honored to be the person in the room at the table for the 3rd district. And I want to continue to serve. And I look forward to getting, back out there, not in a campaign capacity, but just talking to folks, going door to door without having to ask for anything in return as far as a vote, but just to hear what folks have to say and bring that back to our conversations in this table, because that's our job. And I look forward to continuing to do that. And hopefully very soon we'll be in a place where we can have a lot different conversations and much more, close contact in terms of those conversations, because they are different. But as we navigate through this time, I hope that we continue to, be very cognizant of what the realities are, what the challenges are, and, gentle and kind with each other as we all navigate this very difficult moments. So thank you again to the 3rd district. Thank you to the alders for continuing to serve yourselves and those who are wanting to serve, given the challenges that we're facing. It is admirable for you to step in this time. But we are grateful for everyone's presence and everyone's opinion and everyone's perspective, as ultimately all of those bring us to a better conclusion and a better, more perfect union. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Tate II. Moving on now to the gentleman from the 7th, Alder Horton.
Thank you, Your Honor. First of all, I'd just like to thank the people of the 7th District for allowing me another opportunity to come and serve, even though I was unopposed. I would just like to thank, my predecessor, who's no longer with us, Alder DeHaan and his entire family, for those that believed in me, and he believed in me, and kind of like struck up that vision of saying that, you are a leader, and that I think this is something that you can do. And I will be forever grateful for him and his family, to my wife, Kim, and my kids, Brianna and Galen and Jeremy and Maurice Jr., allowing me to serve this community for over 20 years, whether it was in this capacity or a youth capacity, serving as director of the Gang Diversion Task Force, working at the COP houses, and given a chance to give back to the community that I once harmed. So it is good to be in a position to work with my colleagues here. And not only that, my church family that believe in me also. And I've always said that, being in this capacity, that I want to try to make the best decision that is possible that I wouldn't leave the common council tossing and turning at night saying, why did I do that? I shouldn't have done that. I should have did something different. And even though nights are difficult sometimes, even though nights are long, but I love to serve. It's not about the title of being a councilman. It's not about the title of being, in government. I think that everyone that's in government should have the heart to serve people. It's not that they should be washing my feet. I think that we should be washing their feet and making sure that they are okay and that their family's okay. And so with that, I am thankful, I am grateful, and I just want to make sure that I'm in a position to move the city forward and to make the right decisions. And again, to the people of the 7th District, thank you for all your support and all your prayers. And with that, Your Honor, I just want to say thanks for another chance to serve my 2nd term.
Alder Horton, thank you very much. And congratulations on your return. Moving on now to the gentleman from the 9th, Alder Young.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would, of course, like to start off, like many of my colleagues have, by thanking those who engage in the democratic process in our respective districts. The 9th Aldermanic District, as I like to say, is the Kringle capital of the Kringle capital, with our wonderful producers of Kringle. And we celebrate our district, we support our district, and our neighbors support each other. And they displayed that by engaging in the democratic process. And I'm honored to have earned their trust. I want to thank my family. My story isn't possible without my dad. As somebody born and placed in a Russian orphanage, brought to Racine, Wisconsin, and raised here with my family, and now able to serve in this democratic body, I take that responsibility very seriously, because not only is it guided by a sense of gratitude for my family and for this community that helped raise me and save me, but also a sense of service to make this community a stronger place for everybody. And that brings me to the real commitment to the future. This has been a challenging year, as Council President Tate explained, but I have never felt more hopeful for the future of the city of Racine. We're in the 3rd largest economic region in the United States, the 10th largest economic region in the world. And so there is nothing wrong with the city of Racine that can't be fixed with what's right with the city of Racine, as a former president once said about the United States. And so I am thrilled to come back to serve a 2nd term and be accessible and thoughtful on behalf of my constituents. So thank you.
Alder Young, thank you and congratulations. Moving on to the gentle lady from the 13th, Alder Taft.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, fellow council members. I am just overwhelmed by the support of the community, and I want to thank all of the folks in the 13th District that participated in the democratic process. I think that I have worked really hard to hear you and to bring your voices to the table, and I appreciate each and every time someone reaches out to me that needs help or needs advice or needs to understand the process. And I encourage folks in the 13th to continue to reach out to me. I'm here to serve you, and I appreciate that opportunity. I think first and foremost, I want to thank my family as well. I couldn't do any of this at all without the love and support of my husband, Ben, who believes in me and encourages me and helps me through this. And my children, who now, after 1 term in, we understand more fully what this entails, and they have been supportive and helpful, inspirational to me. And I really ran in part because I wanted them to see that when you think that, to be the change you want to see. And that's really why I ran, is I wanted to be the change, and I strive every day to live up to that goal. I also want to thank my own mother and my mother-in-law, who inspired me by their service and their day to their communities to do this. I have regretted the first time I ran, I didn't thank the folks from the Emerge program explicitly, that trains women to run for office. And now that we're to a minority woman council after that one year where we had a majority female council. Hopefully we can get back there, but I just want to give a special shout out to the women who help other women in this process. That being said, there's many men and women in this amazing community right here at council, as well as my community, the Racine community in general, who are so supportive, who work so hard to see that so the city can be the best that it can be. And I'm inspired every day by the work I see in other folks, and I'm encouraged that we're all doing this together. Gosh, I could go on, but I'll stop. I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to serve even during these difficult times, and I'm grateful to be doing it with all of you.
Thank you so much, Alder Taft. Last and certainly not least, the gentlelady from the 15th, Alder Lemke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I first of all would like to thank the people of the 15th district. I love living on the north side. It's a very active district politically, civically, and I'm so grateful for the people who came out and voted, but also very grateful for the people who are involved on the north side every day to make our community the kind of community that we want to have. I want to thank especially not only people who got out and voted, but made voting possible. Again, a few people have referenced serving during the pandemic, and I think certainly all the people who are both staff and volunteers who made that possible and made that safe for everyone. I'm really grateful for those folks to have allowed us to have a democratic process despite the challenges. I also want to give a special shout out to one of the alders, Jeff Coe. During signature collection time, I actually had COVID, and he came through and helped me get some additional signatures. So I'm so grateful for your help, Jeff. So beyond that, I'm really excited and looking forward to serving with this great group of alders. I think there's so much energy and so much, so many really inspired ideas and people here. So I'm looking forward to serving with all of you. And I can't thank the staff enough for, I don't think that people who are maybe, at home get to see it, but every day we work with the most amazing staff in the city of Racine who are really doing their best to always look for solutions, and whatever day-to-day issues there are always taking care of them in a quick and professional manner. And so I'm looking forward to getting to serve with that staff as well again. So thank you.
Alder Lemke, thank you very much. I just want to just take a moment before we move on to acknowledge everyone for running. I think we've had several people say that this last year has been like no other that I think people can remember in living memory around our politics. It has been hard, and certainly no one would have blamed you for deciding to be done with public service. You all knew better and decided to run again anyway. So bravo to you for doing that. I also just want to compliment this council for really a difficult year, and a year where we had to make difficult decisions, sometimes not always the most popular decisions, but oftentimes the right decisions to keep people safe in the middle of a pandemic. And I know how hard that has been, and I know that the feedback has not always been positive, but it has been remarkable to serve with the previous council to be able to do that. I too want to echo what the staff has been through the city of Racine. We have remarkable, more than 700 employees who get up every day to serve the citizens of the city of Racine, and work that they do, usually without praise or recognition. Certainly, in fields where they could find higher remuneration in the private sector, but they come back every day and do the hard work of keeping us safe in the public health department or our public safety departments, of clearing the snow and keeping the streets clean, and just, day after day of really hard work in a time when public service isn't maybe valued as much as it once was. So I feel just really privileged to be in a place to be your mayor in these extraordinary times. It's just been a remarkable year. If you would have told me a year ago when we swore everyone in virtually that a year later we would still be in this position, I would have said, I can't believe it. I am really hoping and praying that a year from now we are far beyond this point and can be together again personally, and that we've gotten through the worst of this. So our previous council service has ended. This council service is just beginning, and I am so excited and honored to serve with each and every one of you. The next item on our agenda is the election of the council president. So at this time, I would open the floor up to nominations for council president. Alder Young.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to nominate my friend and colleague, John Tate II, for a second term as council president. As Jason Miekma so adequately served as council president for 2 terms, I'd be happy to see the same for Alderman John Tate II.
Thank you very much. Is there a second to that motion? Alder Taft.
Second,
Alder Taft would like to second that
Second.
motion. Alder
Yes,
Taft,
I
would you like to speak to your second?
I also go for the leadership during these difficult times of my friend and president, council president, former president John Tate II. He always knows what to say. I learned so much from him, and I just think his leadership has been really welcome during these difficult times. And I think he's earned my confidence and service.
Thank you very much. So the floor is open. Are there other nominations for council president? Are there other nominations for council president? Are there other nominations for council president? Seeing no other nominations for council president, if I could actually ask everyone to unmute themselves, then by unanimous consent and acclamation, all those in favor of electing John Tate to continue as our council president, please say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries unanimously. Congratulations once again, President John Tate II. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Mayor Mason. Yes, thank you. Thank you to my colleagues for your confidence and support, certainly in the last year. When I first came on the council, my mantra was I want to get us to a higher level of conversation, policy, policy, policy. And I think within the last year, based on circumstances, but also intentionality, much more of our conversation has been based about policy, vision, implications of those policies, and really having robust conversations about what does good public policy look like. Dissenting opinions, which are certainly welcome in a policy discussion. We've heard them, we've kind of vetted them out, we've had those debates, and they've been exceptionally robust. And as council president, that's what I wanted to facilitate. That's what I wanted to see. That's kind of the example that I wanted to lead by. And we've seen that and we've done that. I think we're better for that as a council because our orientation is about, well, what is the impact of this particular policy? What are the long range implications? And we have those conversations now. Alder Peterson is a great example of a person who asks and thinks and oriented about policy. Alder Perez as well is like, well, what does that mean for policy? And many other alders as well. And I think us talking about policy in that way ultimately serves our community better, puts us in a better track for success. And we're all actually better alders as a result, because we can explain to constituents, what does it mean to take this particular action? What does it mean that this is in place and how does that play out? And ultimately that's been my goal all along, not necessarily a particular agenda about what we do or how we get there. Well, not necessarily what we do, but how we get there. And the how is ultimately what we do, and ultimately what we debate, as much as what the what. So I'm certainly, grateful and honored and humbled, quite frankly, to continue to serve as council president. Hopefully, able to do so in person at some point this year, and probably gavel down Alder Perez, as I've been really looking forward to. No, not really, but certainly as we finished last year with the conversation around the road and the repairs and the anticipated construction, I want to have more conversations like that as alders and to debate those and kind of understand those policies, but also propose changes to those policies as we're seeing them affect the lives of our constituents. And we had that conversation because a lot of construction is going to affect a lot of people's lives. And if we're not thinking about those things and trying to figure out how do we navigate or shift or change the policies around those things, then we're not necessarily doing the best thing that we could for the well-being and health and safety and standard of living for our constituencies. So thank you again for allowing me to continue to serve in this capacity. I look forward to continuing to work together, elevating our discourse and getting into some real robust conversations about issues that maybe we haven't touched on this year or in the last year, but hopefully can get into this year, and also continue to foster those relationships with each other so that we can continue to have perhaps disagreements, but never being disagreeable. And I think that's been a hallmark of this council, particularly with the political climate of the last year, with the presidential election and a broadening divide within political groups. We've had conversations about very contentious issues without ever getting to a place where we don't feel like we can still have a conversation afterwards. I think that's, a hallmark of this council, but also a very admirable quality of each of us here, who've had conversations, who've had debates, who've taken strong positions on different sides of issues, yet never gotten to a place where things have devolved so that we no longer see each other as people, as members, as friends, as humans. So I appreciate all of you for that and want to see us continue to do that and get into some even more difficult conversations and continue to show that we can have those conversations without losing sight of each other's shared humanity. So thank you all for your services and thank you for allowing me to continue to serve.
Well said, Alder Tate II. Thank you very much. The only two remaining items are announcement of the standing committees and then entertaining a motion for appointments to several of the committees. Before I announce the appointments to the standing committees, I just want to thank all the alders who gave me their input for their preferences on which committees they would like to serve. I unfortunately can't accommodate every request, but did take everybody's thoughts into consideration when we made when I made these final decisions. So just to announce the committee appointments, Finance and Personnel, Natalia Taft will be the chair, Marcus West will be vice chair, and the other members on that committee will be Sam Pete, Jason Miekma, and John Tate II. The next committee, Public Works and Services Committee, will be Molly Jones, chair, Trevor Young, vice chair, Edwin Santiago Jr., Melissa Lemke, and CJ Rouse. On Public Safety and Licensing, it'll be Jeff Coe, chair, Maurice Horton, vice chair, Jeff Peterson, Melissa Caprillion, and Henry Perez. And finally, the executive committee will be made up of myself, John Tate II, Natalia Taft, Molly Jones, Jeff Coe, and Trevor Young. So those are the standing committee appointments for the year. I look forward to serving with each of you in your roles, be they continuing on your committee or in a new role. That leaves us on to the next agenda item, which is the communications around several of the appointments that are available on multiple city committees. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve item 0289-21, communication sponsored by myself, appointing the following listed people to these boards, committees, and commissions.
Move to approve.
Second.
The motion from Alder Santiago to approve the list, a second from Alder Taft. Any discussion? Seeing none, if everybody could unmute themselves briefly. All those in favor of the committee appointments, please say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. We have exhausted our agenda. Alder West, at this time, I would entertain a motion to, we don't, well, let me just ask if, let's see why there's no reason we couldn't do an announcement before we get to adjournment. Alder Coe, did you have an announcement?
Well, I should have mentioned it before. I want to thank the city clerk's office for this last couple of elections, all the stuff they've gone through, all the turmoil and everything. And I tell you, every time I needed anything, they were right there for it. So we got a great city clerk's office, and I just want to say I appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Coe. Alder Perez, did you have an announcement you wanted to make?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to congratulate my son, who'll be celebrating his birthday in a couple of days, and defending his doctoral dissertation at Duke. He'll be turning 31. So congratulations, Adam Perez, a product of Lutheran High School, Trinity Christian College, Yale, and now Duke. Thank you.
Congratulations to your son, Alder Perez. Alder Caprillion.
Thank you for recognizing me. We are coming upon the time to remember the Armenian genocide. If those of you who don't know, Racine is made up of a lot of Armenians. And so please, I would like to pay recognition to that. So thank you.
Thank you, Alder Caprillion, for that important remembrance. Alder Horton.
Thank you. I'd just like to say happy birthday to my daughter, Brianna, who turned 23 today. And who's doing full-time social work in Frankfort, Kentucky.
All right. Happy birthday. Any other announcements?
Oh, I do.
Alder Tate II.
I want to congratulate my nephew, Stefan McGravy Tate. He won the Widener Award for the most improved student at Prairie School this last year. So congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations. Any other announcements? All right, seeing no further announcements, at this time, Alder West, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
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 All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned. Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations, everybody.
Stay safe.
Good night, everyone.